So do you want to know some weird things about breastfeeding that you may not have heard before or may not have known before? Today I'm going to be sharing 3 things about breastfeeding that I find personally kind of funny, but they are true. So did you know that your baby can smell you? Your baby can identify you by your body odor and by the smell of your milk. So when babies are born, their eyesight is not the best. Their eyes really don't develop until about 1-2 years old. So they see in black and white and they only can see a few inches in front of their face. However, their sense of smell is very heightened. So I don't know if you've ever laid your baby down and say you have left the room and maybe come back in and your baby has like woken up and seems really hungry. This happens to me all the time. So much to the point that if I lay my baby down for a nap, I try not to go in the room because I just know he's gonna wake up. Like the moment I come in the room, he's gonna wake up because he can smell me, he can smell the milk, and he's just gonna assume it's time for him to eat. Which is so funny. So if you're a breastfeeding mom and maybe you have other breastfeeding friends, your baby won't get you confused with other breastfeeding moms. Your baby knows specifically your smell of your body and your milk. So it's another really cool thing about breastfeeding, and you know, of course it helps facilitate the bonding, but yeah, your baby will smell you all the time. And that's another reason why they say, like, if you're having problems with getting your baby to sleep in their own, you know, space, or to sleep independently from you, to like rub something on your chest or on your breast area and put that in the crib with them. So whether that's their bed sheets, or maybe, you know, if they're a little bit older, maybe one of their favorite toys or something like that that they may have in their bed, or their blankets, because if they can smell you, you can kind of trick them into thinking that you're still there with them. So yes, your baby can smell you, so don't think you're just gonna be sneaking around here, walking in and out the room. Once you enter the room, your baby will smell you, and you could be far away, but if you're close enough for the baby to pick up your scent, it will signal to your baby that it's time for them to eat. So the next funny thing about breastfeeding is that you will experience leaky breasts, especially in the beginning. Now in the beginning, your leaky breast is just because your body is still regulating and your body is kind of pushed into overdrive while your body figures out how much baby needs, how much he's eating or she is eating, how frequency, the amount, and everything like that. So you will have leaky breasts in the beginning, so like that first 6 to 12 weeks while your milk supply is regulating. But did you know that your breasts leak when your baby is crying or when you hear crying? So not just your baby, but any baby that is crying. If you are a lactating mother, crying will signal to your breast to let down milk. And this can put you in some really precarious situations. So that's good for you, you know, if you're at home and your baby starts crying and your body is signaled to start letting down the milk, and you can feed your baby and no issues there. Of course, that's good, that's great, that's what we want our bodies to do. But in other situations, it may not be so great. So like say maybe you're out shopping, and this has literally happened to me also as well. So I went out shopping, I think I was food shopping, and I heard a baby crying in the next aisle. Now, mind you, I'm not around my baby's at home, but because another baby was crying and I was breastfeeding, my breast started to let down milk. And if you're not prepared, so if you're not wearing nipple pads, you can totally ruin your shirt or your bra or whatever because another baby has signaled to your body to let down milk. So if you don't want those situations to happen, definitely wear breast pads maybe when you go out in public, because you just never know when you may be caught in one of those situations. Another thing that I like to mention for leaky breasts is your milk will start to let down. Your breast will start to let down milk during the times that your baby is supposed to feed or normally would feed. So say, you know, you're away from your baby for a certain amount of time and your baby's used to like a 3-hour schedule or something, and maybe you're on the way home from work and you're stuck in traffic and you don't make it there to feed your baby at the time that your baby's used to eating. Your breast can also let down milk during that time as well. So just know that leaky breast is a thing. It's just part of the territory of breastfeeding. So crying, the time spacing in between when the last time you fed your baby and when your baby's used to eating, and especially again in the beginning when your breasts are learning how much milk to make, when to make it, and things like that, you will experience that. So just try to be prepared with your breast pads. So hopefully you won't be in a situation where, you know, there's milk down your whole front shirt and you're embarrassed. And then the last thing for this video is, did you know that there is breast milk underneath your arms? Yes, your breast ducts go all the way up underneath your arms. I don't know if a lot of people know this. So again, in those beginning days when your milk is coming in and you may be engorged, that's probably when you're experiencing the most engorgement. unless you skip a feeding or something like that, you may notice discomfort or feeling uncomfortable underneath your arms. So if you are engorged and maybe you're pumping, or maybe you're doing like some warm compresses and you're just trying to like bring the milk down and give yourself some relief, make sure that you remember to massage underneath your arms. Now I know this sounds a little bit funny, but the ducts really do go all the way up. They really do go all the way up in here. And it depends, of course, on your anatomy, just how many milk ducts you have. But if you ever feel like a lump underneath your arm, or if you ever feel like really uncomfortable, or you feel like maybe you have a clogged duct somewhere, make sure that when you are expressing milk, make sure that when you're pumping, or maybe if your hand is expressing milk, that you're massaging those areas also as well, because milk can get stuck in those ducts up there, and you definitely don't want that as a problem. If you feel sore underneath your arms while you're breastfeeding, if you feel like a worn spot underneath your arms while you're breastfeeding, make sure you massage those areas, because what you don't want to happen is that the milk stores up in that area and continues to stay in that area, and that can lead to mastitis or even more clogged ducts. So yes, if you are a breastfeeding mom, I would say it's not as much of a concern when you are breastfeeding straight from the breast, but I would say that if you're pumping, massage that area too. Massage underneath your arms as far as you can reach, you know, on either side. Make sure that you're showing that area some attention too, because your breast milk ducts do continue all the way up into your underarm, and it can be really uncomfortable if the milk gets stuck there in that spot. So even when you're breastfeeding your baby straight from the breast, you can massage that area as you're breastfeeding to encourage the milk to come down, and you can massage the side that your baby's feeding on, and then if you switch to the other side, you can massage that side also as well. So if you have a free hand, like I like to use the cross cradle, and so I do have that other free hand, and I can massage that area down. Like I said, it's not really that much of a problem, at least for me, when we're feeding straight from the breast, which is what I do anyway. But yeah, milk can get stuck there. So if you notice you're feeling uncomfortable, if you notice a soreness or a tenderness, that may be the issue. You may have milk stuck in your underarm. So make sure you massage that area to bring the milk down so that you don't have any problems with clogged ducts. Okay, so that's all the weird things that I wanted to talk about today concerning breastfeeding. Of course, there are so many more. And breastfeeding is just so wonderful, but it's still one of those things that we're finding new information about every single day. So there's so much research and things out there. If you would like a part 2 of this video and you'd like to know some more weird things about breastfeeding that you may not have heard before, let me know down in the comments below. If you're a breastfeeding mom currently, or you have breastfed in the past, tell me or share with me in the comments maybe something that was funny to you, or a funny experience that you had, or something weird about breastfeeding that you discovered on your breastfeeding journey. Thank you so much for watching today, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.